Welcome. The Modi government has embarked on an ambitious program to convert Make in China supply chains into Make in India. To get a full sense of what's being done to power this idea, we're joined live and exclusive on India Today at this time by one of the most important ministers in the BJP government, Minister for Law and Justice, Communications, Electronics and Information Technology, Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad. Ravi Shankar Prasad ji, welcome to India Today. Could you at the outset lay out for our viewers what the government has done over the last few days to convert the idea of Atmanirbhar Bharat into a reality, to try and pull manufacturing lines which are currently operational in China and bring them to India?
Rahul, first of all, you need to understand what is the true meaning of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Atmanirbhar Bharat is not against any country. Atmanirbhar Bharat is only India positive. That's the first thing. The second is, Atmanirbhar Bharat does not mean isolating away from India. It does not mean an inward-looking India. It means an India which is globally competitive, an India which undertakes manufacturing in a professional manner with due incentive of the government, and most important, an India whose manufacturing prowess is in sync with the global supply chain, so that India as a major economy of the world also contributes and becomes an asset for the global economy. This is the true meaning of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Now, why I am saying so? There is a purpose, and the COVID challenge has given a fillip to that. India was the second biggest mobile manufacturing country. It has only 2 factories when it has come to power. Now we have 250 plus. And Rahul, in the vicinity of your Noida and Greater Noida, where a factory is situated, 97 factories have come. India's electronic manufacturing, totally speaking, was only 1,90,000 crores in 2014. Now it has risen to 18-19, exact 4,58,000 crore. 19-20 likely to rise to 5 lakh crore plus. Mobile phone 2014 was just 18,000 crore revenue. Now it is 1,70,000 crore plus. Therefore, based upon our leadership, our work, our incentive, we have given the result. Modest, I will acknowledge. Now we want to scale it up further. And therefore, we have come with schemes which I will outline when I subsequently converse with you.
Sir, you keep talking about how mobile manufacturing is one of the big successes of the last 6 years, and in some senses it is. But the reality also is that some of the most critical components in that manufacturing process, whether it is the semiconductors, the chips, are still imported from countries like China and Taiwan. As you now come to this new space in the Make in India program, how do we ensure that all critical parts of the supply chain actually move to India? That it's not just assembly and bringing together completely knocked down kits or semi-knocked down kits, but the entire manufacturing process transfers to India. How do you hope to achieve that?
Now you have asked the most relevant question, and the new policy which I announced about 3-4 days ago, earlier approved by the cabinet, basically answers all your queries. We have come with a whopping package of 50,000 crore incentive. What this incentive is 40,000 crore is the production link incentive. You do more production, you get more. Second is cluster scheme incentive, close to 4,500 crore. What does it mean? सिर्फ दूल्हे नहीं आए, साथ में बाराती भी आए. मतलब if a big company comes, let all the ancillary companies also come. That is the cluster scheme incentive, where one pilot industry will be there, around which the ancillary industries will also develop. And what is the third, Rahul? The third is component manufacturing incentive, again close to 4,500 crore plus. That means mobile component that we talked about, other chips, etc. All these things are a part of that process. And therefore, our approach, Rahul, is in the initial stage, we shall pick up 5 global champions. Because you know, mobile today is occupied by 80%. 80% of the mobile is occupied by 5 to 6 companies. So they will be called global champion. We also want Indian companies to become national champions. Therefore, we shall also encourage, handhold and incentivize Indian mobile manufacturing for them to become professionally competent and globally compete. Therefore, global companies supplementing Indian companies and Indian companies supplementing global companies is how we see. Rahul, it will not be proper for me as the IT electronic minister to take the name, but let me tell you a good news to you. A company in your neighborhood in Noida is manufacturing mobile phones for AT&T of America. You know that? That has been our achievement, including all the inner system also. Therefore, a lot of component manufacturing has also started. But we are not going to only stop with mobile electronics. Let me also share with you the case of your medical electronics. What is medical electronics? Post-COVID, healthcare is going to become very important. Therefore, MRI machine, X-ray machine, pathological testing machines, there is going to be immense need for all this, and most of them are made outside India. Similar schemes we have announced, approved by the cabinet, whereby we want to make India as a big center also of health electronics, medical electronics manufacturing ecosystem. Therefore, from electronics to medical electronics, all have to go together. They will create enough jobs. And just to remind you gently, in the electronics sector, till now we have given 20 lakh direct and indirect jobs. And in the new scheme which we have announced, we intend to have a revenue rollover of close to 5 lakh crore plus in the coming 5 to 6 years, with employment opportunities of 15 to 20 lakhs. That's how we are seeing it.
Mr. Prasad, I was reading a recent paper done by professors at IIM Indore, the Wharton School and IIT Delhi, which looked at what companies would need in terms of policy, administration, infrastructure, legal systems to try and move their production lines from China to India. And in the problem areas that were noted in this paper, and areas which your government needs to tackle on a war footing, are legal systems, infrastructure, government policy and administration, and the certainty of contract implementation. One of the big problems for foreign investors when we speak to them, whether it is at Davos or internationally, seems to be the uncertainty around contract enforcement in India. They don't know whether government policy will change, whether there's a change in the state government and therefore the mood in the state administration changes, and that seems to be a big bugbear. How do you hope, Minister, to address this?
Well, I can only tell you, in spite of all these naysayers, today most of the global companies are manufacturing from India or not in case of mobile, including Apple, Mr. Rahul Kanwal, including Apple. Therefore, there are problems. India is a democracy, a huge country. But don't forget, India is a huge market too. Facebook has the biggest market in India in the world. So is WhatsApp. Twitter is the second or third. India has got the second biggest startup ecosystem in the world, don't forget. And we launched formally the startup movement only in 2015. Therefore, in spite of all this, if we have done so well, we shall also overcome all the problems which you have just mentioned. But let me just clarify. We have already changed the Specific Relief Act. Earlier, in case of a dispute, enforcement of a contract was an option. Damage was the compulsion. Now we have said no. Compliance of the contract and its enforcement would be the primary obligation of the court. And if a party is unwilling to comply with that, the work shall be done from someone else and the money shall be recovered from there. Therefore, in ease of doing business, we have done this. Don't forget, Rahul, this, that we have come down to 63 against 140 plus in the ease of doing business. Our tax structure is 15%. And all the states are very keen to attract investment in manufacturing sector. Those concerns were there, I don't deny that. But I can tell you, and I need to appreciate Yogi ji for that, how mindset changes. A big manufacturing factory had come in Noida, or probably Greater Noida. They wanted some exemption on stamp duty for their land purchase. He had just a chief minister. I asked him, Yogi ji, do you want to give a reformist image? What should I do if you consider exempting the stamp duty? And he did, by one stroke. Therefore, now I see a lot of changes happening. On the legal system, on arbitration we have changed a lot. We are very keen to make India a hub of arbitration. Institutional arbitration are coming. Rahul, I would never discount there are not problems. Labor reforms have been undertaken, in many cases. Now there is online clearances of your company registration, etc., etc. In a huge country like India, problems will be there. But what is important is the capacity and ability of the leadership to resolve the problem. And in there I will only say, Rahul, I am just a phone call away. That's all I have to say.
Minister, I've been reading reports of the government saying that after the COVID crisis, there are different elements of the government that are actively in touch with 1,000 plus manufacturers, whether those companies are based in the United States, whether they are based in Japan, South Korea or elsewhere, and those who have manufacturing lines in China, and you're trying to pull some of those manufacturers into India and give them the incentives to come and invest here. Can you give us a sense of the response that you've got after the COVID crisis? Because if you've been in touch with 1,000 such companies, how many of them have suggested to you that they're willing to come and invest in India?
It will not be proper for me to share the details of the company. But let me share with you the larger narrative. Post-COVID world is not going to be the same as before the COVID. Global trade will change. Global manufacturing process will change. Maybe global political engagement will change. Digital engagement is going to become the norm. Tomorrow Amit Shah ji is going to address a digital virtual rally. We engage with our workers on a virtual basis. Yesterday I had to go to Patna to do the audit of the drain cleaning of my Patna Sahib constituency. But it was required that as minister we should stay in Delhi for some time because of the COVID challenge. We did the entire audit virtually, Rahul. Can you believe me? All the officers were present, all my local MLAs were present, and we talked. Therefore, the virtual interaction, the way, as you know, in this COVID, na rail chalti thi, na bus chalti thi, na hawai jahaz chalta tha. Lekin mera तीनों विभाग चलता था. Whether it is mobile phone or internet or virtual work from home, whatever you talk about. And I have seen new responses emerging. I asked my CDOT, a part of a research team of my communication ministry, please work out a video conferencing in 1 month's time. And they did. And I talked all my chief PMGs of India at 40 locations. We invited a hackathon to make in India video conferencing. Rahul, you'll be surprised to know 2,000 startups applied. 12 we have picked up. And we are going to come up with very good make in India video conferencing facility. Distant education, digital business interaction. All this is going to become the norm. Now, why India is the very preferred destination? Our stability, our human resource, our technological prowess, our engineers, scientific ecosystem community, researchers, professionals, India's huge market potential, and above all, the way Modi ji has led the country during these challenging times, our Prime Minister. And don't forget, India has also got very trained working force. All this enables manufacturers globally to think of India also as a very safe, secure and promising destination. I am consciously making the three expressions: safe, secure and promising destination. And I'm sure people are responding. The scheme which I talked about, Rahul, about mobile manufacturing, itself has generated enough excitement globally that my press conference was also covered by New York Times, by Nasdaq, by Bloomberg, and also by many international channels. India's moment of this crisis has arrived, that I think.
Minister, you spoke of the changing geopolitical realities in the post-COVID world, and one of the things that we've seen is a rapid deterioration in the relations between China and the United States, where there seems to be a Cold War 2.0 which seems to be beginning, or we're already probably in the middle of a Cold War of a new kind, which is led by a trade war with America now more aggressive about pulling companies out of China and ensuring that they're not entirely dependent for their supply chains in China. Where do you see India in this looming Cold War that's now commenced between China and the United States?
Rahul, let me put things in a perspective. You are a very experienced journalist yourself, as the television editor for the last so many years. And I believe you follow geopolitical strategies and developments too. Could you in the wildest of dream ever think that the world will change beyond recognition in 2 months? I think the English expression metamorphosis is so aptly applicable here. When I look back in January and now in first week of June, could we believe that the world will change like this? Therefore, the world surely has changed. It will have its ripple on everything, as I said, on international cooperation, on international engagement, on the way countries see each other. The rising hostility between China and many countries, including America and China. All this is going to impact, alter, and also influence the course of digital connect and strategic connect and strategic intercourse both. This is a world in which we have not played a role. But this is a world which has emerged on its own. And just to conclude, at one line, what we do is we uphold our principle of engagement, of peaceful resolution of issues, but showing the manufacturing might of India, enterprise of India, based upon all the assets that India has. And we are determined to become a part of the global supply chain.
Minister, one of the key challenges for India as we try and unshackle the global economy from dependence on China is the rare earths minerals market, where 90% of the global output of these minerals, which is crucial for consumer goods, aviation, clean technology, healthcare, defense, China controls 97% of the rare earth minerals market. How do you hope to try and ensure that you can unshackle China in this very important space? Because if they control the minerals, they can control what happens to those minerals. How do you hope to deal with this challenge, Minister?
I'm telling you, first of all, Atmanirbhar Bharat, again, don't put it against any country. As I say, India positive. But I can only gently remind you, Rahul, that it is the India of 2020, not the India of 1962. And I think India has also got enough mineral resources. I can only tell you I have handled the portfolio of coal and mines in the Vajpayee government, that I am aware of India's mineral resources. We have to reform, we have to exploit it properly. Haven't you seen how many far-reaching changes we have introduced in one stroke in the entire coal mining sector? We have seen that. Today we have by and large freed it from government control altogether. Therefore, with this challenge in mind, we will surely look to it, and I am quite sure Indian entrepreneurs will also come to the occasion. I believe we are going to talk to Indian entrepreneurs. Why not? I don't want to make any political comment, but it makes me a little uncomfortable to see our Lakshmi Ganesh during Diwali coming from some other country. Why? We used to have lovely Lakshmi Ganesh. Therefore, Indian entrepreneurs, Indian manufacturers, and Indian business leaders also need to rise to the occasion or not. I don't think it is a rocket science. Does it? It does not. Therefore, it has to work both ways.
So, but we've seen just over the past few days interviews with members of India Inc. Who used to earlier manufacture in India, and then over the last several years they've taken their manufacturing lines to China because they just felt that it's far more competitive, far easier to manufacture in China and India for a whole host of reasons. Regulations, the Inspector Raj, etc. They found that it's easier to be in China than to be in India. And for example, take pharmaceuticals, which is so important. All the APIs which are used in the pharmaceutical industry, many of them were earlier made in India. So it's a skill we had, but it's a skill we lost, and it's a skill that we now have to get back. Are you speaking to these members of India Inc.? What are they telling you? Are they willing to bring their production lines back to India? Because they're well ensconced in China. It's easy for them to manufacture them, and they can bring that import back and use it in their products which they're manufacturing.
I think on the pharmaceutical API you haven't followed. We have already taken very significant decisions, and that we did even before the COVID came in India. Therefore, those concerns have been addressed. But let me tell you on the larger level. I am not talking of global companies, it is entirely for them. But as far as India's companies are concerned, we would urge them, please rise to the occasion. In the moment of India. और कुछ लोग को दूसरे देश में ही बहुत प्यार है, तो हम तो उनका कुछ नहीं कर सकते. I can only tell you that we have done our best. After all, in spite of all the hiccups in the electronics, have we done some revolution or not, mini revolution or not? Modest, I acknowledge. In the case of IT services, we have been able to do or not. In the case of back-end offices, we have been able to do or not. Therefore, large number of, I recently had gone to Baroda for a party program before COVID. I was amazed to see the kind of pharmaceutical operations going there and in many other parts of Gujarat and also in Maharashtra. Therefore, I know for sure many of these companies are doing well. What is important is they need to reflect upon their manufacturing operations. And if they start thinking openly with a little pro-India bent, I think results will come. Don't forget, if these companies can make our tricolor shine outside India, why can't they shine it in India too? We are there to help them.
Minister, you've laid out a very expansive agenda for trying to convert Make in China into Make in India, even though you've highlighted on multiple occasions that's not directed against any one country. It's our effort to make our economy Atmanirbhar. The key challenge, of course, is to walk the talk and to turn all your policy initiatives
that is your expression, Rahul.
Action on the ground. That's the key.
Rahul, that was your expression, not mine. I never used that expression which you just used. I am only India positive, make India a huge manufacturing country. That's our ambition. And surely we shall do it.
For joining us on this broadcast and for sharing your vision with us, Minister, thank you very much. We wish you all the best. Thank you for your time.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.